Hey everybody, welcome to California Pulse. My name is Michele Rempel, and today I'm super excited because I'm here with Cathy Weiss. Hi.
Hi.
And I know Cathy, I'm going to let her explain, but Cathy wears a couple of different hats, and they're both exciting. They're both fun. I think they go along with her personality. So, Cathy, what you wear multiple hats. What are these hats that you wear?
I
Tell us about
do.
them.
I'm more than happy to. I'm starting to just call myself a magic and joy maker because magic is really meant to be lived, and joy is this soul deep frequency that we all were born into this life to feel. I help women find that in two different ways. One is through the power of clairvoyant energy healing, and I have a signature 9-month program called the Joy Jedi Academy. And the other way is through my expert services as an elite agent and travel advisor specializing in Disney vacations. So I help people plan, prepare, book, and have magical, wonderful vacations at Disney destinations all around the world. And both of those help women connect deeper to themselves and source energy and the wonder of a life that is truly and authentically lived.
Wow. Okay, which came first, Disney or Joy Healer or Joy Jedi? Which came first?
Yeah, like what's the order that all of that
Yeah.
transpired? Well, I mean, I've been going to Disney since I was 4 years old. So, I mean,
Okay.
that part of me was always with me. But as far as my offerings out in the world, 2017 was a very interesting moment in my life. I was having this day where, you know how like you think you're doing everything right, and then a moment happens and you decide you're doing everything wrong. And it's just like you just want to give up and everything's terrible. So I was having one of those moments, and I ended up on the phone with the only friend I felt comfortable with in my life at that point, where I could talk about things like law of attraction and spiritual energy and spirit guides. And we had a really great conversation. And she goes, "You know what? I'm going to send you this deck of oracle cards." And I was like,
Ah,
"Great, fantastic." I had no idea what an oracle card was. Like, go and Google what the heck they were. So this deck arrives at my house. And the moment I put my hands on it like this, I heard really loud and clear, "You have to do this for other people."
oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. So I sort of came out of this spiritual closet and started talking about it a little bit with other people. And it turns out my friends were like, "You've been doing that all along. You're just being upfront about it now." So that was kind of what started my journey as an energy healer. And I needed like time to experiment and play
Sure.
around with like what my style was.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and that has what led me to the Joy Jedi Academy, right?
Okay.
So that's sort of like the timeline of it. And the Joy Jedi Academy really was born out of this desire was working with women one on one with energy healing and readings. And I started to feel like I want to teach all my women this really important stuff about how their energy works and about how spiritual universal energy works. And if I could just teach them all about that, they would be so much more empowered in their healing path.
Yeah.
And so I that's what I did. I created that container.
So I heard 9 months. Is there anything significant in the length of the course? 9 months, or is it
I mean,
just,
it's kind of cool, right?
yeah.
It's like a gestation. It serves a couple of purposes. One, because there's a lot of information, if we meet all the time, it's too much to actually take in and like integrate.
Yeah.
So we meet on the first and third Saturday of each month
Oh, wow.
so that
Okay.
there's time to like absorb. And I do two things in those 9 months. First, I break things apart. We've got three phases. And the first phase is like, I'm going to break all your energy layers apart, and I'm going to break all the spiritual energy apart. And then in the second phase, we put it all back together in a way that makes sense. And then in the third phase, we integrate them with each other.
Wow.
So it takes a little bit of time. And I know we live in this world that likes to promise instant results and instant this and instant that.
True. It's true.
But but the reality is some of it really actually takes time.
Yeah.
So it's this gorgeous container that takes a little bit of time, but the end results are just like phew, mind blowing.
Wow. So how many women do you typically bring through this 9 month experience? Uh,
Small and intimate
yeah,
because we're going through some big stuff
I bet.
together.
Yeah.
So I cap it generally around eight.
Oh, wow.
And then
Okay.
it's like, okay, let's see who shows up each year. And each year's a little bit different,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
it's always perfect.
Wow. And the term Jedi, so there's must be some sort of Star Wars tie-in or fandom going on, or
Yes.
yes.
Yes. I mean, the force is real.
Yeah.
And the force is just a metaphor for spiritual energy. And when we learn how to tap into that energy and use it in really mindful ways, we become powerful beyond our imaginations. And I just love that playfulness that we can bring to it so that it isn't always super serious and super heavy all the time.
Yeah. Okay. So you've got that going on, and and that I'm sure takes up quite a bit of your time,
Yes.
but you also are this elite agent with, Main Street Travel. And how does that tie in? Is it hard to go back and forth, or are they kind of well meshed now because the end result is joy, hopefully, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about that. Tell me about that whole side of you.
Yeah, how did that come about, right?
Yeah.
There's like my different hat. Like I have my,
Yeah.
here's my hat.
When I see you, you often have the ears on or some form of ears on,
I
right?
do.
So,
And
yeah.
probably something Disney related too, some
Yes.
clothing. Yeah, it's silly and ridiculous, but in the best way possible. So
It's a brand, right?
it is,
Yeah.
it's a brand. We have to travel back to just before pre-COVID shutdown. So this was very late 2019, early 2020. I've grown up going to Disneyland, what I love to call my foolish mortal. Also, I grew up going to Disneyland, and he's a former cast member. And we have found some adult joy in going to Disneyland from time to time. So, right at the end of 2019, they opened their newest land, and it was a Star Wars land.
Yes.
Yeah, Colin, right? Some people are like, yes. If you haven't been, like, we could go down a rabbit hole there.
Yeah, yeah.
We were fortunate enough to get to go to experience Galaxy's Edge when it first opened, and it had like like a two-phased opening. So the second phase was opening this brand new ride and attraction called Rise of the Resistance.
Mm.
And it was their most technologically advanced ride system. It actually incorporates three different ride systems within the experience. It's the
Whoa.
longest experience. It's
Whoa.
the most immersive. It's like all the things. And we got to go on it. But the thing that was different, because they knew it was going to be so incredibly popular, instead of walking up to the ride and getting in line when you were ready, they had something called a virtual queue because they knew the wait time was going to be somewhere in the 5 to 8 hour range. So instead of you standing there for 5 to 8 hours, you would get on your phone and reserve a place virtually.
Wow.
Because this was so new and so exciting and so popular, the entire day's worth of spots in that virtual line were gone in a minute to a minute and a half.
Wow.
So if the park opened at 8 o'clock in the morning, by 8:01, gone. Because I was there and had practiced a couple of days in a row, I knew how to do it, had a system.
Wow.
COVID comes along 6 weeks after I had been there, and Disneyland closed for an unprecedented 413 days. It,
Unbelievable.
right? Over a year, Disneyland was closed.
And how long had you been an agent with them? Had you been
I
yet?
was not
You were
yet.
not. Okay.
It's
All right.
coming. It's
Okay.
coming because of this.
Okay.
So Disneyland was reopening. All of us who were jonesing for it and missing it could not wait to go.
Yeah.
I had several friends that I knew were going, and I was like, y'all have to go on this Rise of the Resistance thing. Like when I got off, I promised you I was going to make a video of my reaction, and I was so overcome with emotion and tears that I could not make the video. You got to do this.
Whoa.
But you need to do this thing called a virtual queue that none of us had ever heard of before.
Yeah.
So this is where in my previous lifetime I was a school teacher. My school teacher nerd side came out and I made a full-on masterclass
Yes. I
with
love it.
slides. So I like the whole thing. And we had a Zoom cla master class and like people showed up and they were like taking notes and all the things. Sent all my friends off at their various Disneyland vacations. They all got in the virtual queue, they all got to ride Rise of the Resistance. And I was like, that was so fun. And it was so easy for me. And I loved knowing that they had a better time because of what I had experienced and was able to present it to them.
Yeah.
And so I started getting curious. I was like, is this a thing?
Yeah.
Can I, like, is this a thing that people like, is there such a thing as like Disney planners or Disney helpers? And so I started searching around, and lo and behold, it is an actual thing.
It's a thing.
It's a real thing. And different people are going to use different words to describe it, but the official terminology would be a travel advisor specializing in Disney vacations. And I do have to take a course and an annual exam. It's called the College of Disney Knowledge.
No
I,
way.
yes, I take that course. I have to pass an exam every year to keep my certification.
Okay.
The certification is what allows me to book people their Disney vacations. Now, your choice with that is that you are either your own travel agency and you have to do all the legal stuff and like run it like an actual business,
Right?
or you can choose to become an independent agent through an established travel agency. That's where Main Street Travel comes in because
Okay.
I wanted to focus my time, effort, and energy not on running the
Yeah.
business
Yeah.
side of it, but on
Yeah.
actually helping people.
Yeah. That's where you got the joy, right?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I get as excited for other people's Disney vacations as I do my own.
Yeah.
So I found Main Street Travel in 2021 and I joined them then. So the elite agent part came in the middle of last year. They announced that for the first time ever, they were going to have this elite agent program for the top 1% of the agents in their company.
Wow.
It was an application process that you had to go through, and it was the top 1% in growth, customer service, expertise, bookings, all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
So I nervously applied last year and I got in. And when I say the top 1%, we're talking out of approximately 6 to 7,000 agents.
That's
Um,
incredible.
my
Hi,
cat thinks
Kitty.
so too. So I was accepted into the program. And so, yes, I'm an elite agent for 2025. And I just found out last week that I had to reapply for 2026 and I was accepted again for
Yes.
2026. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. That's so awesome.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
Wow. Now, you're not just an agent for Disneyland, right?
Correct.
Okay. So you can book
Any
stuff.
any Disney destination around the world. So here's the super quick rundown. Yes, we have Disneyland because I'm in California. A lot of my clients are in California. That's where we go
Sure.
a lot. Also Disney World and Florida. And by the way, if you've only ever been to Disneyland, you got to go at least once to Disney World. Totally different. So amazing. Disney Cruise Line, which cruises all around the world, but the most popular cruises are to the Caribbean and the Bahamas and the Disney private islands, followed by Alaska.
Wait, wait, wait. Sorry. Disney Private Islands?
Islands. Yeah. So they have two islands.
Okay.
One is their own complete private island, and one is where they have a private, like, giant section of
Whoa.
an island.
Oh
Yes.
my goodness. I
So
had
it's
no
going
idea.
so those are going to be only for guests that are on Disney cruises.
Okay.
Then we have Alani, which is a Disney resort and spa in Hawaii.
Okay. Sounds like it. Yeah.
Yes, super fantastic. And lastly, something that people are not very familiar with, but one of my absolute favorite things to offer is something called Adventures by Disney. Adventures by Disney just turned 20, so it's been around for 2 decades. But a lot of people don't know is that they do land-based tours and adventures around the world.
Really?
And there is, yes, and it's between about 25 to 40 guests per group. They do also offer adults only adventures. And the thing that's great about this is it's for people who are like, ugh, I don't do theme parks, or like, oh, I'm not a Disney person. If you go on an adventure by Disney, there is never a character, there's never a theme park ride or
Huh,
line, but
interesting.
what you are getting is to go to some of the most popular, incredible, life-changing destinations around the world with that super high level of Disney attention to detail and customer service and storytelling.
Storytelling.
Yes.
Okay.
So when you go on an adventure by Disney, you have two Disney guides
Okay.
and also a local guide.
All right.
And what your guides do, besides taking really great care of you and making sure that you have hand sanitizer and water, and oh, some places around the world you need coins to operate the restrooms, or like all those little details they handle. But along the way, they are telling you the stories that create the culture of the area that you're in, and they immerse you in cooking classes or river rafting or whatever adventure you're going on. And so your entire Adventure by Disney is one long story arc. So
Whoa.
so you're not only just on vacation, you're immersed in this amazing story that people come back from and say like that vacation changed my life and had so much more meaning than if I had just gone and tootled around on my own as a tourist.
Oh yeah. I mean that for so many vacations overseas, people they get frustrated by the experience because they weren't prepared for some of the things that are normal for the people that live there, right? And
Yes.
so having someone take care of even things like what you mentioned, the bathroom, right? Like I didn't know in my country we do it this way, and in this country they do it that way, and it makes it frustrating, which is funny, but so yeah, having those things taken care of, I could see how that would be just an amazing experience, and you can just kind of feel more secure, right?
Yes.
In what you're doing. Huh,
Yes.
that is so cool. Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Most people don't. That's
Yeah,
why I like to talk about it and kind of open the doorway to a different type of travel than people might be used to. And I mean, like they'll pick you up from the airport, they take you to the hotel, they transfer you between places. All of your stuff, like experiences, is included. They handle the tickets. They often have VIP Disney only exclusive experiences. Like I've got a woman who's going to London and then down on a European Disney cruise coming up soon. And part of her London adventure by Disney, they're getting a private tour of the crown jewels of London inside the Tower of London that like
wow.
isn't even open to the general public.
Wow. Well, I mean, Disney, the name has a pull, right? They
Yes.
have a network that they can obviously pull a few strings to get a few extra things for you. It makes sense to me. That's amazing. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
So when is she going? When is that happening?
September.
Oh, very soon.
Yeah.
Wow. I bet you're kind of like, can you take me with you?
More than once I have said, I'm small. You could fit me in your
Right.
suitcase.
Yes, I'm so jelly right now of you being
Yes.
able to do this thing that I'm helping you do.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. But I'm sure that you have been able to take advantage of some of this yourself, right? I mean, you're not just arranging things for other people, but do you have anything coming up that you're going to be participating in as a tourist or, uh,
Would I be a Disney lover if I didn't have not I don't have just one countdown on my refrigerator. I have two countdowns right now.
okay. All
Yes,
right.
going to Disneyland the first week of September for Oogie Boogie Bash, which is their Halloween event party that's like of all the specially ticketed after hours events at both Disneyland and Disney World, everyone agrees Oogie Boogie Bash is the best
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Yes. So going to that and then also doing something called Castle Yoga that same week. It's part of the Run Disney event weekend where they hold a yoga class first thing in the morning right there in front of the castle. And
No
it is
way.
so beautiful and dreamy and like it's all Kathy's favorite things because it's Disney and it's yoga and it's at Halloween time and it's just all of that. So that's coming up, and I've got a group of like 9 or 10 people that are also going with me. So it's sort of like my trip, but our trip.
How fun.
Yes.
Well, speaking of Halloween, I can't even believe, like, I can't believe we're already talking about Halloween, right? Like
Yeah.
the, I don't know, the year just seems to have
I'll tell you what happens.
flown
But
by.
lately, right after the 4th of July, it's just Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
That's just where
Halloween.
we're at. Yeah.
I know. I love fall. I love Halloween. I love that whole, all of it, the pumpkins and the colors. And even though
Yes.
here where we live, we don't get as much of the flavor of some of that as maybe in some other parts of the country, but that's okay. We can still
Yes.
make it happen. Make the
Yes.
magic happen for
Yes, we
Halloween.
do. And then in January, I am headed to Walt Disney World for our Elite Agent Retreat,
Ah,
be staying at the Grand Floridian Resort. I have not stayed at yet, so I'm excited for that and to see it and be able to give my clients sort of the like intel on that resort and what my opinion of that one is.
oh, that's awesome. That is super exciting. Wow. Okay, so Joy Healer, you arrange all of these amazing vacations. Is there anything in the works for you to somehow tie these things together, or do you feel like you're already doing that, or do you have any plans? Because I saw something about you're on TikTok and you've created this group, or so tell me more about that. It's like taking off
It
apparently,
is so
right?
taking off. Yes. Okay. Yes to the first question, meshing them together. I've actually just started doing that by bringing my intuitive gifts to my Disney clients. I do things to help make their trips more meaningful because we're not just going on vacation. We're really creating these stories that we tell about our lives.
Yeah.
And we often start with, remember that time?
Yes.
So recognizing that that we're creating stories. I use my intuitive gifts to help them name their vacation. So it's not just a vacation. For example, I just had a group of 3 families go specifically for the Star Wars land because some of them had never seen it. And we landed on the name of their vacation being Friends in the Force. And so every time we talked about their trip, I could say, okay, well, Friends in the Force is coming up. So here's some things that we need to do.
Yeah.
And they felt like so much more connected to their vacation. So I do that. And I also, a few days before any client goes on a vacation, I intuitively channel a blessing or a message to send them off into their vacation so that so that the intention is really well grounded and they're clear and they have even better experiences. So but as far as the TikTok thing goes, the question is, have we heard of the We Do Not Care Club?
I have not. I mean,
Okay.
other than, I should say, okay, as a woman who is in a certain age, I
Mm-hmm.
have heard, this phrase as, you're in perimenopause, you're in menopause, you're kind of getting to this point a lot of times as like, you know what, I don't really care.
We do not care.
I do not care. So from that frame of reference, yes, but is that where we're going with this or is it something else?
We're going a
Okay.
little bit
All right.
down this road. Yes, absolutely. So on TikTok, there is a creator, and her name is at Just Being Melanie.
I
And
think I've heard of her.
you've heard of
Yes.
Just Being Melanie. And
Yes.
she starts her videos off with, Welcome to the We Do Not Care Club.
Yes.
This is for all women going through menopause, perimenopause, postmenopause, to put
Yes.
the world on notice that we just do not care. And then she starts with the announcements and she announces things that we do not care about. And it has just lit people on fire. And so other creators have come on and been like, I am petitioning to be the president of the New England chapter of the We Do Not Care Club. Or there's a gentleman who's like, I am petitioning to be the president of the spouses of the We Do Not Care Club. And there's all these different little
He's
offshoots.
he's an ally.
Yes, he's an ally. And I was meditating the other day doing this really specific meditation called Cave of the Heart, which is where you connect really deeply to yourself and your gratitude, and you are able to then call more abundance into your life. And as I was doing this meditation, I had this little like, I should make one of those TikToks for the Disney adult chapter of the We Do Not Care Club. And Disney adults are people who go to Disney
Yeah.
unabashedly without children.
Yep.
Whether you have children or don't have children,
You're going without.
you're going, you love Disney. It is super magical and amazing for you. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. So I made my petition to be the president of the Disney Adult chapter of the We Do Not Care Club. Posted that just a couple days ago on TikTok and it went crazy. And I've been posting on different platforms for several years now and have, things are fine. It was never a big focus of mine
Yeah.
to make it do great. I was
Yeah.
focusing my attention elsewhere, but this one just struck a chord. And in under 24 hours had 10,000 views and
Oh my
hundreds of
goodness.
comments, which
I
for me
love
was a
it.
lot, for me was a lot. And I think today, again, just a couple days in, we're around somewhere around 17,000 views and hundreds of comments and a call to have the first ever We Do Not Care Club
Oh,
Disneyland takeover meetup. I am on it.
you are on it.
I am
That is
making it
awesome.
happen. I've even got an email wait list or interest list so that once I have information, I can just shoot it to people. Um, and yes, so that's where we're at. And that is kind of a little bit of a combining
Yeah.
of the two worlds because it came from me setting my energy and doing the work that I guide women to do.
Yeah.
Because often women, when we're looking for more joy, there is a piece of abundance or a piece of authenticity that they feel is missing. And everything about that video is a part of my authentic self.
And you
And
just shedding some of these things that we just, don't really care about.
we just don't care. So it is like a beautiful like bringing together of those two worlds.
That is awesome and amazing. And I just think that is the best to hear, you actually combining the two, putting it out there, and people are jumping on the bandwagon, and you're like, okay, now I'm going to do this other thing that has struck a nerve and I'm going to do it. Why not? I'm
Away
the
we go.
leader. I'm
Yes.
I'm I'm a mighty leader.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, and so now I know I can tell that people are like, "What is this video?" So go over to TikTok. I'm
Yeah.
at Magic and Joy Journeys. Go watch it.
All
It's
right.
it's pinned right up there at the top.
Magic and Joy Journeys.
Yes.
Okay, so if you want to find out more about what Kathy does on both hats that are now combining, how do people get a hold of you?
Thejoyhealer.com and also magicandjoy.fun
Okay. And again, TikTok
at Magic and Joy Journeys.
at Magic and Joy Journeys. So much fun. Obviously, I knew it would be, but thank you so much for your time today and spread some more joy. We all need it. Spread some more fun. We all need it. And thanks again. Have a good one.
My pleasure.